gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. So, just to get on, please let me know if you can hear me. But I am sure you can. I'm not sure my devices have any problem. So, but whereas they do, just let me know. And the sound might not be as, some would always say it's not as loud as they would expect it. But if you can let me know, just ite Barcelona be da wala lokko ala yalan so Barcelona bulay firin dollal no Real Madrid me ko men kala la nyana sam nka o mono to sumiara. But let's have a conversation quickly, and the focus would be still on the police. It's always very difficult to have a conversation because some will tell you, boy, I understand understand. The difficult thing is it's difficult to talk to everybody because we don't speak every other language, in here. But and we can't also speak just English because we're talking to our people, our communities, and they gotta know what we're talking about. So most of the people of my hood, this is Bruford, and then we'll always be out there to defend our homies, and more so when we know, they did nobody no wrong. So what I'm going to remember sabatring. The police will come after Nyamindro, Nalmantan Solo Cairo, Mantal Solo Cairo, Kado Cairo Fanandeka delay na dosoro. But I told Tajidente and Balafin in Tilimaliam in Namola Banko Kang. And in Korean in Kosifa Betilimola, Molofaka Murunka Lamo Dolokan. Like I told you before, if we are 10 times determined, we will be double the digits more determined than you. And of course, like any other day, we will always be here to have these conversations about this ongoing case. You can actually delay it, no matter how long you delay it, no matter how long you keep Hussein Obojang in prison, justice will be served in this case. So today we want to preface our conversation not entirely on this particular case, but to tell you, the systematic, and of course institutionalized, behaviors of the police that are probably out of bound, or that are actually things that we wouldn't expect to be happening in our country, on this day. I saw the police and David Kujabi having some issues here and there. But what the police is saying tells more about the police than David. If you know David as a person who had worked in the police force for long and probably on secondment or whatever that he is on with another institution, you can say that, oh, David should not talk about the police or should not write anything that might have in one way or another in connection with the police. It might be your right to say so or whatever. But let's put the police in checks and balances here. Police. And let's say I did something wrong in my institution of work, where they have to reprimand me on the basis of the terms and conditions of service or terms and conditions of that job. Will it be done on Facebook? If the police felt that David Kujabi said something that is not in conformity with their terms and conditions, what should the police do? Officially and professionally, either write an official warning to David, call David to order in the most professional way, but not to come to your Facebook page and then outrightly mention David and trying to castigate him. But I along Omanta surprised day. Nyim police will be Nyamakato, Nyim police will Walter Commando just days ago, coming out making videos of praise, singing the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mimbotaji sign thing. Iko mumo kende balate ku kende balake police andala tariko betula police le fo ilayo medin. Tolu nyong kuma karantang folal na mo sodo dunia blato. Atole min fonko video da atole min fonko ko mo le safa al malal fangol la ko mo la kata atole fangol lata lokal be min fokan tonyati je anda atole fangol le be sila ko dengal ko mo kino fonko mo kuma anda atole le bo safero ke kama mare kama, and then you want Gambians to consume what you do not believe in. So if you tell me that what David did was wrong, he shouldn't write about anything that has to do with police and police activities because he's still a police officer on secondment. But your reaction to it, should the police officially come and be attacking its own men on Facebook? David Make, what ole akeku? Faham balia, kalamta balia, lack of professionalism, lack of integrity, dealing with our state institutions with emotion is basically what is visible in the police. Wale atina nale funding kill mutalbuka kumofo. Ali amrato leta mnyimbankoti atolu man kalamuta. Tamanta to lale jedi. Moro nal kalbe mbadi ngol soron nan nalba janju nal mbad nalbe tala la fadandula. E dunia ka mole horoma mi afang horoma ka mole horoma mi ye horoma. But not people who will criminally connive against you and your people of your community to incarcerate them on false allegations and deceit. Gambia police will falling. Gambia police, we are not referring to individuals, every one of you. Don't feel if nimam kuke kute kang what alkan alfamol jawokono. But we are speaking to the leadership, and of course, to be specific now, the Office of the Information, whatever that is actually coming out, alal hakiloto. Nkonga fala nyame IGP kilina mansa la nyaton kayata dunia banna. Just like the DIG left, another DIG replaced him. You have the guts and the audacity to come out and praise, sing that man, make videos of him and tell us that he had done so well that, history will be kind to him. This is the same. Mana nalmo video ke jaka aka I press conference ke dami. Atole alo mimbe caring. Self-deceivers are people many along ko ifang kala nunga min for tonyati je bare mba folale anu ngala nga min for tonyati je ngamuru ngadi mulla puri fana yela mo na tonyata no fola, and then so that they can laugh at me. You think the public is dumb? No. So what an David Fenna Safemi along Kamandia police in Yaton call David to order and tell him what he needs to do and how he needs to do it professionally. But what did you do? Police only a sifa beke nyumbanko kanjanne, but of course to reprimand your people, there is a way to do it. There is a TOR to follow. For police all TOR, Asafi Waltoko come and outrightly be attacking your own men on Facebook. That is your TOR. But when you are actually angry and then you want to act on emotions and hate, this is what you do. Atolman betea. And alta beteala. Mokende juko talla. Some of you. Because the good people in the police will remain good and the bad ones will remain bad. So we are talking to the bad ones here. Many alonko then you talk the kumpolo ay nini, dilen fenal, dilen social, pour teglen. Why one thing leads to another. Almost 2 years ago, in the next 14, 15 days, it will be 2 years complete when Usain Bojang and his lactating sister are in jail. Ngo, baranga maratoli ablay sa nyam muta janal kal dia muta kulami yalong ko is related to this case. Up till date, alma mama jabi wa arrest. Alon tolo be jam faringa la wala nan tolta ma futana. Bare mama jabi munat nal mo arrest. Atolu katolu mo tonya molle, atolu mo police tilling ni molle, munat nal mo arrest. Then you talk, people will tell you that, oh yeah, these other boys were arrested because of the Public Order Act. Even that Public Order Act, sometimes it's not just about people and their interpretation of the law because they studied law. Law goes with logic and sense. Law does not apply in isolation. Go. I agree the Public Order Act is right. Either I like it or not, that's the law in the Gambia. But not only in funding kill Samba Court, Alco, the charge is on procession. Where did they process? Like, where was the procession? Muntoni Muntotima procession okay the world. Nicole, unlawful assembly. Now, where they were assembled, and then if you come, you said it's the Public Order Act and you want them to disperse. What do you do? Logically. Like that SAR guy, Daji Kantamolamati. What he could have done was, hello, not a loudspeaker babul, hello, I give you 10-15 minutes to all disperse. Failure to do so will basically be against the law and then I will arrest you. If they fail to disperse within the stipulated time warning given to them, this guy did not even warn these folks. He arrived there, the order is that you people disperse. While he's saying the order is you people disperse because you are illegally occupying this place, one person jumped and told him at the same spot, we are legal and we are lawful. On the same spot, this guy said, arrest him. So where and how is the logical application of the Public Order Act that you people keep talking about, shouting and howling everywhere as if atol le fello mol mamillo ngo al mol tenkondi hana tara dunia loi be balko wala kono albe loi tamani la tonyani tilingola kan albe loi tamani la tilingola tonyala kan. Because if I felt that you are occupying this space and then you should not occupy it, I will give you at least, let's say, minimum 5-10 minutes. Vacate this place. That is a warning. Nimam boje mbal arrest la lanko. Hani dunia laud la retara dunia laud la. If they are arresting people on issues like that, they give them warning to vacate. Whereas they fail to do, they will arrest them. But etako moeko, you are illegally occupying ya koeko, I am legal, I am lawful, doreko arrest him. That is ego. That is emotions. You don't actually serve in our uniforms with emotions. Wala nanga police will they always smile kang inin dongol ba fen kang kong fa ko mo kendo lo fele. Police kendo lo fele. Most of those recruits mo kendo lo fele. Ima wali jebe tilimbali ya tilingam mola imon kulana tambi kuke. Bara new uniform finti ol min yalam ko some of them have been there 10-20 years. Was sarna adonyolo. Wo manke mo kendedi. Badan ko man sa kilin jamana bugatu dunia mo falin sulade. Every day has a yesterday and it will evidently have a tomorrow. Da ngeen di jaay sañ ñi ñoo leen gëna sañ, da ngeen di jaay soxor ñi ñoo leen gëna soxor, da ngeen di jaay bon ñi ñoo leen gëna bon. Man sila la jam and no more sila la jam because what you are a police officer, and so what? At the end of the day, you remove that uniform, we go and sleep on the same bed, we wake up from the same houses, and of course, we go to the same bathrooms, and of course, we go to the same, households. You are not superhumans. Just like some of your bosses will stay back and then watch with caution, some of you definitely need to take your time and know how you deal with the public. Dole min bala kono wala yamera ko teacher langolom fa wara ko long to nyino lo wati moro. There is a difference between being notorious and being famous. To be known for evil is disgusting. Atol de fin atol kalka David la jalay tara jalay robe faring atol kan ko mona kilim atol sa David jalay ale diaji so tentu. What an irony. What an irony. But of course, Mama Jabi has the liberty to sit anywhere in the Gambia. Tell us that Hussein Pojang will rot in jail because that is what is going to be the judgment. Of course, he is the one who killed the cops. Meanwhile, the same Mama's audio that you, the police, have transcribed over 3 times, you, the police, deliberately told the DPP to say in court that, of course, the audio is lost. Why will the police lie? If the police want to tell us that David should not actually even talk about, police will ni mulla dunyolola, mune atina police will be sila Gambia ka faniafo. Kafoko useno boja ne police will fa rebelo lo mati abe nundo ko la brikama area council. Police will lay fabrication or beke ko be fintini nang just in the name of supporting the NPP against the UDP. Mune atina police will bokela. UDP was complaining about a Pate Jallo. The police went, and of course, a Pate Jallo in the police, me along with a very junior officer, not the Pate Jallo AIG that the UDP was complaining about, got killed in a very gruesome and disgusting way. But Almanto Nyatamandi Woto, Allah DIG Findita Kate codes used to go and get the suspect. Allah DIG Findita ko the suspect le Kate ko he was with the gun at the UDP court case in Banjul. That he was subpoenaed in court. This is the same person that you people made a whole video. History is going to be kind with him. It means from where was safe. And I quite yellow yalafo. IG along yalafo. DIG from where along yalafo. Police kunda be along yalafo. Gambia be along yalafo. What the police will alcatonyafo. They then they were digger. Yen di dox ci diga te ngeen gum diga ñenam ko timi ñantalama. But the good thing is that you actually got this gala youth, so some of them are my dudes. You got them to Mile 2 prisons. They were able to have conversations with Hussein. And it's good to know that the dude is doing well. No matter how long, not yarale ale case I joined for December na hajita auto. But I told no what a tamala in case to because Dunia Bay now have their eyes on this case. And we all know what the right things are. Kado funding came along among kukala, nenamon kukala, nenamada dunala political. How could you frame somebody's child like that? And DIG, so you went home to your children. How do you feel? Even that video that the police made for you to praise you and praising you, even you yourself know inwardly. Like your instincts will tell you that moro tonyante, you mean for ma tonyante. Moli entelo min and then intaro min bota jangani yin kamin for imanyoje. You have a very stained reputation in the Gambia police force. And this is known by every police officer, including even those who made those videos for you. They know they are lying, they know they are not being truthful, they know that they are dishonest to themselves and dishonest to our uniform and dishonest to the Republic of the Gambia. The entire country can remain mute and silent because probably they don't care, but we will ensure that there is effective accountability on policing in this country. And we don't care who is involved. I will not actually get into prosecution today, but we are waiting for you, the person who is picking up that case as it is said in court. We will face off with you in that court, and of course we will face off with you in public, and we will actually make sure that by every means necessary, that we get to the bottom of this. When you go home, you remove that uniform, you are just an ordinary human being like any one of us. Because your inner instincts and conscience will always tell you the truth. No matter how evil you are as a human, when you sit back, you speak to yourself, you know that Morongamin can be an intimate in Tonya Manta. And then you see them out of desperado calling for press conferences that do not make any sense. Oh, we are ready to listen, we are ready to dialogue. Alman pare fenat almost sunsuluto let in Masakunda. Ntene na Masakunda jamin jowi hata ko adam barola Masakunda dami ya lonko molmin ya lonko ka doko di la pure ya jamala aset sol fenka safo ko bindo mo Amadou le so monto mo Ahmed le sininto mo Ahmad le tim ko malo. Man, imagine that. An accountant of the Jane Commission buying things at a giveaway price, and today his name is Alaji Ahmed Somo Atomo Amadou le sinending atomo Ahmed le sinending atomo Hamad let. When the naman yung sulsifal jaman. The vehicle controller Mole Olonko, Obe Police is one of the richest police officers in the Gambia. Emanke Fentemi Alonko Police Doko Etebo Dronala. Just like their former IGP. The so-called drug lords. Go. Mindi ya dala ben na banko tamun dawle nyama de bare to nyama min tim fanam bi falale la ta kuno la woto. Ha. Bawo na banko baro la bul mindi ya dala la tamun no nyama. Bare to nyama min tim fanam bi falale la ta kuno la woto. Al to nyata mandi. Kadu moka nisi tanning killing sang Gambia will tang all in the nisi one is 900 and some change. Where have you seen 2 kilos of meat in the Gambia being 900? In any other mundo la fango is saji sing kilo from wafu 900. So ko nisi bumburong. Where have you seen like vehicles being sold for 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 in dunia konaja? When a single part of a vehicle is way more than the price of the vehicle that these folks were buying cars for. Wol se si ko ka fo mo le ko no dugal na fi gene na fele ngam mo dole jefan wol fon ka protest la wol fale mo la ko do be ban sunya la jang million keme sabanin killing ite man tayra fo fay ko mo la ko do jo ite ko ka protest la ngo ane protest fana nyanta ke do mo le mi yalon ko e bulo sele ata man adol ya mo la ko do be batara sunya ite ko ka protest la ite ka mo na protest ite man protest ka la suwo kon hey ngana nyu ya buai ngana nyo yabu dugare ko do bi yom tilim malial de ngana nyo yabu
iko ita fay mo la ko do be ban sunyala ite be buru la be do ko ite be protest la ya me de maloso do ba ya me de ke fango jibe ba ya wala ko mo da fen fola to ya to lon jumaldi moro alkana moli ya walta si yalla suwol ko no fon lu minum kale ko moral senadal ko do be jani bango be ba ke kay ta nyanta jelo ko moro moro ndanga sin tanga ten gonda data je karon to ma ke ko hay. But let's stay within the police. Saying initially I was completely against the police bill. And let me tell some of you who went there and of course tried to convince this dude to a point that I have to, everybody need to say, you know what, take the bill and let the other people go and let's see what comes out of it. Hey. So saying, Niga Tama Siloka. Police ko ita tamo la siloka. Po police mo right la siloka fo ko ita tamo la siloka. Kati imam moto obstruct, imam business obstruct, imam mo londi, imam mo batandi, bare be la tamo la siloka. Mone woke crime di. And then alcohol they are what public nuisance. Imagine you take people to police headquarters, you put them in cells on floors, and then you come there, you are taking photos of them. Wala nyindu ka diaran tolle ngal sorom benala la ngal natal be tajidinte an intilimbali atin na atol ko nyinnon atol la security sector reform ti ndeysaan yaga rek dega rek moy mujjé do fi waye def rek sa bop ali ko ku ke jandron al kunkam menen tafal to nyale kala bang molbe lu wolon diamo min nan koy police fula la fa baratol police la fam mo la fa kumayandi katatol la fam mo dal be tilimbali atilin kam wala imagine a baby of probably less than 2-3 months atol ko gas a human being with a heart, probably with a wife and children, and you go out there, another fellow man's wife and kid, atol your gas almam malu alman sila, you did not even release a statement to apologize for that. But if they can kill 70 children, you think they give 2 Fs to actually, gas a baby? No. One day muske barong miya lonko, miskino mimbe danilo resilo kali ofong gas. Imagine you've gas wrong people and a baby, and still you did not even come out to give a press statement to apologize for that. That was a mistake. But you will never take responsibility because almalla wala atolomon kendea. Most of the people responsible for giving out your information, they got to understand that beyond just the information you give out, you are human beings and you have families and you have responsibilities as not just police officers but as citizens of this country. Moro, even if you think it was right to brutalize the people of Gala, it was not right that woman with her little baby, Alio gas. So you could apologize for that as a mistake, but you will never do it. You know why? Because you deal with policing with emotions and not professionalism and ethics. But David, if you know the history of David biblically, you would understand that is one of the greatest kings of Israel. A little shepherd who actually defeated Goliath. Allah political Goliath, their intellectual nothingness is just something that nobody could actually even get to talk about. Responsible people don't talk to those people. They don't even actually see what they're talking about. So David, do not even fall for such people. Kadu walmo molle de mini alon ko kunun wolje janne kunun ko ngeje janne bingeje janne. So wolman ke molti tanyen de mini fon jabila. Kadu wolman la fenna ineneta la fenna wala dunia ko ku fenketa dron dan ko to lamu na fama be damin dron wala ka fole bi soma ya be fono ya be kunun ko danke. People who defeated themselves in their own battle are not people you got to battle with. They have no battle left to fight. They defeated themselves, their conscience. Alcohol ni hakilo lo tuje, ini hakilo ekiti fo janin dunia be kirla. Wala manke multi mini alongo wala nebe kuma kende fola mo makatu itol fon balo jato ko ne man kende ya. So don't expect anything good to come from those people. They will try to vilify, insult, and castigate anybody for their political interest. bare tonya momenti wala nyinde ko nyimman sakundala futa man sakundala bedi min na sotata min yalon ko dondoroke fasa mo man la fike dondo ko tange. What are they doing? Selling our ports and of course our state enterprises, doing everything possible to get money, increasing tax, tax on people. Katun tenena maja mi yalon ko people always put what price ceilings, but of course ka fo mo le ko albe fe on sanna nyindala minimum price, you put that on goods for people, for your citizenry. Nana mo moy dunya dula to ngoy Gambia, but because quality bulu ko tanke mo la ko do beti limbali ala ya pisir pasal ka diate nyamen e dondoro ga fasayta dondoro ke no ko sayo kal ngan nyati limbanko mo la nge tora ngati limbali anin tajinte atilila e to le batanyim face. And all of these have political connections and relationships, because going toward 2026, if data prices are so high, then there will be no enough information and communication to the citizenry. Therefore, we can manipulate the people in the country and, of course, continue to lead and loot this country. Listen, Nimoya for 2016 is for Tonya at Otakenola. Nemoya for 2016, by 2025 we will have the electoral laws that were put in place in the Gambia by Jammeh that led to the death of Solo Sandeng, that Adama Barrow and him bota party killing walebo okela ko murundi wada purate to manse ya lesa voto nyante. Nimmo ko Lumbe Sila Adama will bring a new tactics into government ka data dakwali andi in a way that to suppress the internet and of course to suppress the diaspora. Fango ina di pa ko don fenyol. Desan. Ndolo buka dumbosi tankono de wala bosi kononto, and we don't work 15 hours or 17 hours and have just 3 hours to sleep. And on man kabalje mini yalonko they are 500 whatever meters tall or whatever. But abe wala fanan kono ko nyimmo kilungol la control ko to la ka furel ko ngol le wolinde ka safolo dum nije pour yema saya woto ni wol ko jarte ko bella atol control ko ya Jammeh wanted to sacrifice 70 babies here, but in your regime you killed over 70 babies out of your negligence, incompetence and gross misconduct in governance. So na atara ko atol ko alka mulle samba kiti wala kato wole kulle ke minni silo ni sarto manta atolla malgovernance led to the death of over 70 children and their parents sue you to court, but up till date nothing is coming out of that case. This is the justice you actually promised the people. Inna masa kendo de mimbento la banko kan alko molte o fala alka be internet wala da ko lendela alka na danga da ko lendola de shut it down. Katu ngalo yaga du nañ aga fofu ak yeen bo len bayu duñ bay de bo len tayi wu duñ tayi yalla rek a fi nekkal te ñepp la fi nekkal yalla bañu kenn de alaftal la ñama alaftal na wala ñama albeti lu ngoni to ñala tamani la mon la banko kan do law seno bo jamam police wala fa bi amon police wala fa sama and na manta tukuta traffic light. This is a young man who is doing his own thing on the law. He has no business with anybody. He has no political interest. He is just one person living his decent life in the hood. But Bawa Nala to our problem was that led him into Kazamas, and of course Mama Jabi being notorious for being very evil and manipulative sees the opportunity of the young man's vulnerability to allege him of things he knew nothing about. Abewolo kono DIG so nyol fanam findite fanyal double double kala wandi fonninke kan. Just like Commissioner Sokat ako Hussein Bojana Kate Moto Konoko, he actually did the act. And you look at the kind of people involved in this case. DIG so, Commissioner so, Ibu so, and that military whatever nonsense guy who actually said he did the ballistic examination. Yaga dunal degarek moy moy mujje lumbe silatol bebe findral yalla ñinen ka moro ite ko ñinne soroda to ñafo je kay ko ñamato do na buka karanno mo ko demol la mistake wala. So ning to nyabe sotoring wala ñindi ko seno bo jamman ku katol la man police fa ning police man du ñola nena man hani business soto with the police, and all other conspiracy theories about the matter are on through because the surviving lady explicitly made it clear to the court that any moment du ñola any moment problem soto any moto ku man du ñola, there is no drug case involved, there is nothing involved. She just stood aje nyimbung ya fight be bodo kay nyindo fanambu ya fa janna ka fa kalam ta fa jelo ta no ta mo sene bojan long anena maje I only akaje mulla mo waylo la kona ning internet or just like every other person. How did you connect this person to the scene of the crime? What is his motive? Why did you format his telephone? Gambia Police. Ning ayataratolo ko you are actually working in accordance with your terms and conditions of services. When has this become the responsibility of the police to actually get a suspect and format the suspect's phone? Allah ko kanta malu. Na police wala horomanum ne bunya. Nkaramolo bije. The best of my teachers from school, primary school, high school, some of them are actually police officers. Distinguished personalities, outstanding folks at what they do. And up to this day, these are professional and seasoned police officers. Many yalan ko inene data dun natilimbali yanin tajidin teyato. Bare batala mo kol nayi nali wol tali wol ke nyaton kol tije wol lebe ku kala mi yalan ko they are going to stain the reputation of the entire force for the police kendol sodal. Imagine you see that video where the young lady was telling the police officer, "Hey, buzal majel suma video," and the guy was just smiling. They said that no matter the circumstances, no matter how tense it is, there are people who have that milk of humanity and of course can feed everybody with a smile. Wallo mo hadama dimoluti. Wallo mo polisolti. Asa kolya nyawo nyantol na tollo mo ala domondo. Fo janni mo sarbe na la mo kurmo tajirinte ni mo tilimbalo. Daje kan ko malambe mu fala. E daje ko police training school abe dlankena maren dunya bela kono mo tetu la jede. Am nga aduna ni ñu mbulo wolindi kon tamam mo wori ni ndo fana wolindi ya fa mo fana monte wori ni ñu wolindi ko betti limbali atilin na mulla ni ndo fana wolindi ya lon ko dol fana sati limbali atilin no itara, because no man is an island. So what about him man na pour kam medium, but to give a quick response to the police that it is so disgusting and distasteful for you to come out, David Kujabela Jalai, and then you said what he did in your own view that is against your terms and conditions of service, probably is unethical, but how you responded to him was worse than what he did. Think about that. Measure your professionalism within. Go. Police ya buka kenin jusola, just like when you catch young people ka go me kukela alla jan kirib karawit alta kuno la mola tus na man ke uniform wure ni mo le ben sade ko na foy ko me kukela alla jale aje me beke. But the new recruits, we commend you. I personally commend a lot of, because ndamaje video to follow de ali mo bute dami. Imagine for recruit le do fon mutana ina bina kan ini pia yu mun benta wala follow ku master fon ko junko atol ni uniform fintiol ala hakilotu alki hadama dingol ti aka hadama ya manyake ala lon ko alni hadama dingol be denta nyum bankol la. But the police in the normal that blue uniform, wallahi Allah ko bunya warata. And that all recruit all the design, not all the recruitment, but it seems like you are outstandingly professional compared to the folks that think that they have experience and exposure within the police force. Potongal tentungal jai police in dingolo. Alkaka ke mo bute lalti. These young people that they are after will be atol nintol be killing. Some of you play with us every day. You go home to your boys and you wala kasiyata ala wado muka na atol dung wala kelendola wala wali pola because you wear a uniform. Na duda from the worst thing that one saw some of you do was to push those boys back. And you were not pushing them with a lot of anger. Kako kon be push la le boy honey. Dole fo maybe tension ka garaw do man dendro yakuma do fo no kana molnen and then you went back calm na police ni ndo je fo mo ba fo la bu fisaga some point fa piu mo ngeta kal jibe wala nyama drum. Don't even go so hard on those folks, because they are just vulnerable people who are put out there shortly from training so that they can do something that is beyond comprehensible, and then they would say that it's due to their inexperience. But jumal lekeje la boss nyol lekeje munala pour ila inexperience to actually exploit that so that alni se dunyola otatol protest al fana ala faham control ni be killing e me fa CJ. Just like they sent some of this paramilitary to Faraba Bantan to actually, protect the interests of one single man, that led to the death of 3 young people, because Opara and Niaja from Sate Muli will attack because they wanted to protect Julake against the people. But Opara from me from Keje, ila nyaton ko lekeje neta wala jala nyum protest dulalt. Bara sar na bonyolo, alkana balafa wal yede. Wala man betea. Wala man ke mo kendolati. But these young little police officers would stand at one place, because wali ya lon ko bata min be tol kan wala batol kan bata min ben tol kan wala be tol kan, that they go home and the same problems they are facing like you and I, that they are giving salaries mini along ko tili killing so be fangate balundi nola oto wal batol kelen lamunala na tara bata min be kan wala be kan internet o kasa minne kasa wala mun wala be kelen lamunala kato wali yalo nako mural be dore mi wala mu tonyati asa kunda nyantale tiling bali abula so no bo jangal mon kuno wala de, we will defend him to death, and we know that he did no crime, and the entire country at this stage know he doesn't do no crime. And of course it's good to hear from folks ni la bo jela mal tu ben kay ko mal mo ngi dangam fele ne ma pa ko ya nga mom doy tit bro damay tit de xam nga lu may tit mo sosale nit wala mo waxal nit lu dul dega lolu jar na ragal. But so long I know my conscience is clear and I'm not lying against anybody, and everything that I say I know it's based on the truth that exists, that you did not kill nobody, there is nothing to fear. Let that be clear to all of them. It only wolon ete wolon ne moron tolla kuluta nyoka menta nyoka sate kilo moto woto mota sila ya fonte bi ko ete mo rebelolti ko tengande o kam wasa kende betrayalty wasa kende nafikiyati wasa kente jo ya fango dem fango la banko kan fango nyom fonni ke mi yalon ko kunun nadal ni wala ka woli ni ka boy bi moli woli fanya dubul dabal ka lawo kan ay katol ye dewo kal kana fen fo kati man sakunda be tol dabul ala inde wala en kana balu wosomo odon tol la fonni ke melo la fele fo janning mi ngomi be kala jin salon ko wala mo tonyati, just like the judge and every other person tol man silalla de wala atina dia ji jani tebe bola police tela last day sur kono keta munati yeta commandi court le ke forolondi ka tandila ko yemi mo min be fo ka ko it was based on verbal intelligence. How could you say verbal intelligence when Usain is already in your captivity? Wonyom fan yala be kering. The police officer who owned the vehicle that you people said belongs to the killer, alta leta o aresalia nyinen kala moto kamune kenyindula, because he has a weapon, and of course that is what happened within that scene. Mola bunta jiafata Allah soldier sabol min yalan ko dia weapon experts alcohol lato la witness ul talte commandali nyinin kal ka mun ke nyindu lato at this particular time, because you are the expert, you are the persons who fit perfectly you know the characteristics of the shooter, and not in tolla Usainu Bojang, because woman taje demo dikiwut an bo deglu mama jabi audio am Usainu lum fo moy na bu fa don romba de gis na fa ñi ñu bari dega na ne dañ fa rey ñaari police ak ben jigen dañ ko fa fetal, waaye loolu ngeen jël ngeen déglu ko ngeen xam ne booy bi waxul fi dara lu mel ni dama rey ay police ngeen ne doo leen ko yóbbu code, and then ngeen fee ñëw code di fen. Imagine DPP coming to court to say that Usainu Bojang's audio, that Mama said he has the incriminating audio, is lost. On what basis did you arrest him? Because of that same audio. Because DIG, so now if everything DIG said is a lie, and then you only arrested this dude because of that audio, why did you not bring the audio to court? Because there is nothing in the audio where the boy talked about killing the cops. And the audio is with people, and what is going to happen is I encourage the defense counsel to bring the audio to court and ask Usainu Bojang, jang ha e kadi amu jumale mama jabe akonyi non incriminating audio ti ha, so tender it to the courts, and the court will now validate that DPP ya fanyala for police or ya fanyala for, and of course the entire prosecution and the government machinery were just lying against this young man. Alman malu alman sila kal kumandi kal forolondi kiti bunga daro kaka for David le ko no, don't talk about the police name the population ali wandi dingo dena ne merang mutali o gas alman findi fon ka wala family fon apologize atol mum police sifalt alko mote ofala. Today I will not go into personalities and specificities. Until then you get to court with these folks, we will see that prosecutor who will say that he is the one leading that case. We bet you that. Imagine police will mean from Kasafero David Kundo. And I don't get into personalities. Yani we are good fi kan lañ fi tiyé ci bitch bi ak benen police bo xaman go bayal ma bay wax bobu non dale mol pousse mbabe falal no lon kunda konto ñi nga tejé but the body ngol man na kam me jam back is 40 minutes, so I will just cut it there. But the fact of the matter is that I'm happy to get feedbacks that the young man is doing well in mile 2, no matter what the circumstances and the situation of that shithole is, he still have faith And he knows he did nothing wrong. He knows he's just out of government malicious intent and of course fabrications. And mansakunda alametangala mansakunda la framing la. But also bekere bari nyindo alta kanan wala kato useno boja umam police fa. Kamala bani wala ngal tentu ngal jay, and then we hope that these conversations continue, that our people continue to be aware of the kind of government we have. Cemento damandia, manu damandia, because internet of they are going to put like a minimum price to it that go at us wafula dollar min do yata nyinda. Nte inene o moy mun to ka bin dunia baya wulu. Ninte benale mun wafula ngomba wafula dollar sele to ko haninta wafula dollar sele mba wafula $5 la. Interest min bale jatol de wolong. Atoli America banko mol ka banko mol milk. You will milk us until you kill everybody, so that you can continue to live. It's just like an animal farm. Yeah, the pigs and the way they control, and their monopolies, and of course their associates. Yaga masakini nyamana buka dunia bang. Atol mi yal fanke mule ngana balti ko nga fale nyamin drum. Ama to min juken son kamba tama silo kang abuka mala nyama diala bar malo katara badi mol nyatol. Alal hakilot. Alni mol denta nyim banko lal tante nyinde nyim mankalla keta bankuti. Allah to wala Allah suwol kono mi biar baketa kala dami ali ana wo fangol to fang authority al bu ko jay mol kan ani dimo fangay bu ka dia mo do kal kan so ko sar ñol ni moko dama dal kan ma mol kan nyami al tante molti. You will not screw people in this country, and we will have the right and liberty to speak, and within the confines of the law. Ke mo ñulo man tanake iman kuma fo moma katama silo kan ka ko mbeda National Assembly le ngatandi la ko ko min be banko ka man diantolye o mo nyantola ti momi yaron ko mo be ya so don na banko ka atol to nyanto sisla no wo sembe talla o daraja talla o makama talla o luwa mantara bulu albe tilimbal yani tajidin de amin na banko ka mo buko fal ko mo ta fem ko lawta natol mo police ken dolti ask the question, who killed the cops? Parengajo buka mo dimina manke NPP politician who killed the cops katol da mala dimi ngana natol mala fi moli alo mi police ulfa, just to ask the question, who killed the cops wala katol dimi atol ni dimina mambo nyula folo en ko matile mbalo london ka ni mi atile la min tambita wala yatile ngala atanno. That is just what it is. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and we hope that we'll be back here every other time, and of course these conversations will continue. So long it all day, we are very much motivated to come out and lie against Usain Bojang. We will also come out to actually tell you people what the facts are. It's as simple as that. It all the control you have do kola brikama area council. Ko UDP mo le ba koma. Ko the persons who actually hired him to kill actually provided him the escape vehicle after meeting him in a mosque into a thick forest of Casamas. Obe mu fanyality, obe manke tonyati, ko you lodge in a motel. It all the control you ko yo fongo jo kodo min fongo. Part of that money was recovered. Obe manke tonyade muna mune mansa kundabula ofanya bafola kunganyi script o min be faleten thing. This is an entire fabricated script by the regime. Allahu akbar. Nana malon ko mansa kundaba shotola gambia min be kala nyi mansa kunda sifati bara mune be mansa kundabula la police solo fala wala min be mansa kundadu na nyim fanya bafola ko wala wandi dingo kam mi yalon ka bulu madu ngasimado nin ayata re tolmon kulon police solo sayat. But Roman Sakunda control your code, there cannot be any DNA conducted on the gun. What are they doing? Concealment. That iko itolye samara sinno min tara traffic light be wararinga be doyare iko itolye usirubo janna combat bud samara singol tara jandu yala no ko manke tonya this because the people, the bystanders said that the person who killed the cops probably owns this vehicle, and secondly he wore a combat boot, and they used that combat boot part to go and pick a combat boot that belongs to his brother and then claim that it is his, and that was what he used to kill the cops. Just for the combat boot to be brought to court among kunga singola o manke mansakunda e maloti. Omanke mansakunda malot. When in case fango banne, but niaje fango we still got to bring a lot more witness is to explicitly and clearly put the picture out there for every Gambian to know that the government is not innocent in the killing of the cops. Just like the government of the former regime killed Koro Sisi, and then it only followed that purukata sama kondonga la wolia. Al will look 1 year, anniversary like for sanging, party. Sang was just a very little boy at presentation of Mary not long ago. We are teaching that little boy Yendo ke no je college ba kata kan domon just to get to another level. Amang ko kala. Bala feri ngoni tilimbal ya ni politiko jowya kan ali wandi dimo fami alon ka bana fa ba jikedi wala yalon asake ali dubul dabalo ke wol alni wol tema pour ka je kule fenke baren tolbe tonya tamandi la kato ali e fanna uniform wala kono sa e manke the properties of their parents di mu gambian kolle de gambia be la nyanda fendi la ka tonya tamandi won isa je silin sama mota fendi la ka mulla police wol fa batra ya ni tilimbal ya kono oto nyinna mu kute mbe sodorin alta ku no la woto de anda be folale alta mo de no la woto alka mini de no walla multi min sula da man sakunda place wala don ngala tendula de ha kabirin karam wado sidan dol tara karam modol anno kabirin do ko fana wado sidan tara do ko nyine dalal do min yalon ko koyta mala ko ntata bulala mo no ma buku ne kuma nyala alhamdulillah bare to nyama min defana manda mo nyako na jibela wala no matter who you are and what you think you are kato at the end of the day you are nothing but just a mixture of sand just mud and you will die and of course termites will feed on you monja la ngi sitting ate dundi din ko kono dingan di message mo bete la ajola e kumuje ya bay bang yomal kiyama sura da fana mbodo ye nyini kay bara ko la dunya that is it nothing more jow yaata tambira pour sa ya don na andum ku kelim fana be sodo ni jonta balula mi yalan ko min nanta sala mo le sodo de pharmacie nyim banko kay ko be ke nyim banko ka mbara lun sida le belata le balula be belala la woto alto nyani tin mo tamani mo la banko ka bari mo ngal tentu ngal jayi fo wati ko tan
momo be dawda e kondo sakonna gambia nolu gambia banko din kendolu albe dawda albe kondo ngal limbara mbal tentula mbal jayi diamo be siari banko ka a lot of events unfolding and a lot of discussions of different issues from local government commission where Taliban Suda is currently or these days to the new flow tariffs for telecom companies from Pura to demonstrations to the Public Order Act to a host of issues, Barrow being a dictator as alleged by a lot of people, particularly half brothers. UDP ngol ngo mbado ngani mfopandi kawala bang alkana wol danku na mol bang half brothers alkana wol danku yalol kala fi mo silandola kankurangol nte dumbuka sila yoy bukante silandino so we are half brothers mbe fa killing mbe fa mamulo ya usienda boldi sonde buka sila wala wol bule ye wuri foy ka birikin dim poto kono niano ye fangol ke fambondi da don't care nte buka wol mundal half brothers wala at the end of the day Nindata suokono, we can handle the matters, at our own, level. Bari, kudandana bije lafta min sadala drong, follow longa foko, ntolebe maralola Gambia Bankoka. National People's Party, suke ba, kitibang, suo, ndolemu, we are the stallion, team stallion, ndolemu suke koi ba, o sebutu sukoyo, ndolele bije, alatalla ndollel makoy Gambia diwoli dankunda ngam mansa kunda ta ndolleta mansa kundati ya famle bari jannin ka tawdo follow ndebe discussion min kala jang mbake kanin buñani horomolla de nga ñomoy nga ño faham de la bium min ngaw fo malafi ma yaje mbale ngel say mbuka fitina ke mbuka keleke amanke njoti atale amanke ko sembe tena amanke nka sembe dame na kunu mbuka sembe otola komi lafta min na drone, Gambia, we are growing as a new democracy. So nga kuol domandoma nyofe, nga kacha ankana nyone, but have brothers all model UDP, alkanen dirol kalabula. Nab have brothers all. Ndenga minjen kolefo. Because yalon de inenetente jala Ahmad Jide, ngata wandi post nga monenje, bila inenetajal. Inenetajal fam moye post safente kon kataje, nkata omali la post, nkata diamuje. ala nyini alia screenshot alia sambana dami alon kondada ngamo ataka la posto inene taja. Everybody has a space in this virtual space, social media, media therefore. Baringa ake kuluola ani nyo horomo with civility and decorum. Wokumata bake cool. Barina have brother solika aggressive demanding sometimes. Alka sanga domanda alunga obula. Ningo have brothers UDP ngol. Itolka imbe to fala yala kadianyele. Ite fen nolan. But on a more serious note, I want to address 3 issues and express my view about it. 1, whether or not President Adam Barrow is a dictator. Number 2, whether or not the police is right or wrong. Number 3, whether or not majority of Gambian youths are against Barrow. These are the 3 things I want to speak, and I will disappear because ngahaji balle bulanata nang. Nade amanke consilata le longa of disclaimer. Ado atol dol fanang. Ninga safero ke Facebook alkatran nenna drong al ben nenna na posto. Nkal tuja amanke ko nsilata lale. Barinkal bulaje so that as we move on, just like I have learned, I used to be a lot more aggressive. Ask those that were with me in UDP from 2013, 14, 15, 16. And see how aggressive we were with Yaya Jammeh. You don't know me, a lot of you youngsters. But as we grow, we become a little bit mature and we, you understand. Adumbal dan na fanang. Nalbe safero kela na posto jam. Mbuka safero ride, but nalba kela. Hanal maneng. Al safero kerek jiberla be a jibe. Moli agree wale disagree with you. But al kana nendiro ke lafta walla. Alanga kewo nyama as a country because political man permanent enemy soto binin do diada samena be kuyalale kunun kontol dolni molibe kukilin 2016 2015 ndani modol ka kullo ni wol kuyatale bi mol mi alon koy be Yaya Jammeh fe foy kam banen binni wolle be kukilin samatol minnin alni minu ka nyonen dynamics will change. You understand? The dynamics will change the drone. Ibajela atol dol min kan nendiro kan linde betara kukili adun social media alo jam fadal lundo ibajela moela program ye fenkenang ye they will screenshot them and they will send it to you aka embarrassment or something. So let's start with number 1. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good. That's good. Okay. Okay, so is President Adama Barrow a dictator? Before we go to that, let's look at these demonstrations. Funding keolu findita ninte foloti Gambians against looted assets. Gala wale demonstration oke nu e demonstration oke minna eko President Adama Barrow la mansa kunda kabirin jane commission onata Yaya Jammeh ala fengol taybulu ye wafi bari ye wafi nin silo min na mambeta. Gambians against looted assets. Gambia against looted wolon Gambian ol mi ala ko ibe loring puruka jeko sunyaro minketa idatije adite sonnal manin ka kawo ye demonstration follow ke mbeko police ole mistake ol inate ye fenko dila ye pamito dile ko kalna le pamito ta a Pamitota demonstration of about 100, 200, 300 youths came out. A demonstration, okay? The amol keta. In a demonstration, okay, kodike, ye later all sambadula alto taring. Later on received a ijanjan. Sign. Eko Tira e problemo sambana. Internet is very expensive in the Gambia. Nde I agree. Ninda rara Gambia ndeka internet mi use ala drone ne alo. Adunte ni Africell buka dia. Moli ojele. Nida na post on na Facebook 2 years, 1 year, 3 years ago. You will always see me complaining about Africell and how expensive internet is in the Gambia and the need for government to step in, especially Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. I've always believed in that. So I am in sync with the demonstrators in that regard. Minkeda. Gambia internet is very expensive. Telecoms is very expensive in the Gambia. And there is need for check in that sector. Lata olala. 100% nal agree ta olala. Altara demonstration ola. Jannin demonstration okake. Police olu ko. Police olu. Iko. Yamuele ko molle lafta ta ala demonstration ola. Bari demonstration o nalba kela. Pamito le nyanda dila. Nalman pamito soto. Alkanda demonstration ola. Moltara demonstration ola. Inim police olu dundanyole. Tia gas. Ye mol muta. Ye dol samba wol sonda bail la dol ko ite bail conditional tale samba mile 2. What is Ahmad Gita's view in this particular regard? Aliyek subject o minta, the matter at hand, the subject matter is a worthy one. Is worthy of complaining about. You are a citizen. Even if it is not worthy, you have a right as a citizen to complain and to protest against something. Now protest quote in quote has a very big meaning. But one thing we need to know is ning opposition or ning ulterior motive today. Let's look at the situations. There is Public Order Act, which brought me to that because kusabalabije for barom dictator di bang fondum Public Order Act molmimbe diamu kangala wala they have violated the rights of the youth. Ndela position on call for adu mansila kaf ayala lielon mansila kaf adu momo kami mira hakili 5 common sense bela. I can think about it. Adu laftalem benga katanga nyomoy nim police all Public Order Act police all ko momo be demonstration o kelebe protest kela enyanda pamito tala police all there o mutonyalti fomu fanialti hani what a faniati nim momo nata yewo faniandi itele tonyero number 1 alnga start work police all le ko momo ya tumako imam pamito sodo police all man go ahead dealer ya save ya dealer nima wo sodo near protest ke you are going to violate the law adu near law violate law I mean from bole kelela nim momo ko police all le wuli al photo police all le kuri al keoto ye police all tonyele de because police all ma wuli afo adi man kuriya kije lafta nga nyomoy de ndela position o minti demonstration o mbe o folala adinda nga minke kabirin kunun ko ndebe diamo mina authority le ngawlo ne bari banta jang al nga nyimfo luwa jawyata luwa beteata namu lualeti it is implementable. Public Order Act has a lot of problems. That particular Public Order Act, it has a lot of problems, but it remains a law. It is an act as law students. It is a piece of legislation that is enacted by a competent body of a government, and that is National Assembly. As far as we are concerned, whatever public act that is being used by the police is legal. Alotale adun Gambia luwa ya jele ko luwa sahari nomu, luwa kallan kelomu, luwa tonyalum. Because bankola luwa sonda Public Order Act nyinale. Ndol nga jele ko, miya sambanang, aya sambanang alanga niyo munung kurialti. Bari nilafta wo luwa nga bondi, alanga luwa nying accept na National Assembly member solu. Again, UDP National Assembly member sodole, APRC North Alliance sodo, Baroye sodo, Ahmad Baye sodo, Nili Beya sodo lani independent oli sodo. Nil luwa ben na banko ka manke luwa kendoti. Silol le bije, saratol le bije, ika luwa kuru bondi nyamem ka yelemandi ka ke luwa kutoti. Ibuka fodron because ni luwa mambete abarabe luwa buko konole mbitale nga soso bara manke luwa kendet wote banko la luwat momo be Gambia banko kan iman laftonyero la yeolon. I am speaking in Mandinka deliberately. Public Order Act, its content is very bad, yet it is still a valid and a legal instrument that government can use. So alanga hakilo to nim police ol ko dukare alla demonstration o tonyalom baral kanata altale pamito ta aleta demonstrate ndenga ole fi barnal ta da foka bang mfa police nyol fanang aliyem minuje abe manke NPPT abe manke baro governmenti nyim police ol ndega jamal lelong dol bije wolbe yelole dol bije wolbe bulu dol bije wolbe green camp nyim police o dol nata mansa ibe police yala jannim baro ka mansa yela political party ol sotole jannim baro ka mansa. Most of these police officers, they have their political parties that they are loyal to. Bari Nindo ibe mansa kundala do kuol, an institution of government that is independent of a political party. Gambia Police Force. It transcends a political party. It transcends views of a political organization. They are strictly going by the law. Wolon Public Order Act. Baroma Sambanand, in Public Order Act mi ka use Baroma Sambana. Ya Jamela Sambana. Deputy LBJ Kabirin 2017, majority was UDP. Janin Nimbaroka Kuya. Mafalin nga to jail. Because we felt Aben Nafalan. Honeybee, UDP called BJ. There is a right for a private member bill to be introduced. UDP called Dolu. Niajan call for because Jamaba na brother sol Jamaba lewe diamuka. Nimman kontanala alanga falling. Ahmad Jita will be very happy purunga falling because I'm alua mambetea. Bari luwa jaw fanade ke in the loyally of. So Public Order Act nim police all ko Canada as far as this law is in existence. Alanga bunya. Alanga luwa nyim bunya. Alanga pamito sa fe kada ba ken nimboro ita nga samba police. Ni balanta wala. Then we have a problem now with the police. Baral nga di. Because nga mo jamaje mol ka savero ken na boy sol mol ka savero ken na post ni nga post ha, you know, we have a right, it's our fundamental right to freedom of expression, freedom to protest and assemble. You know, every law you see, every freedom has checks and balances. There is no freedom that is absolute. There is no protest that is there is no right that is absolute. Nowhere in the world. We have freedom of assembly, for example. Tied Adun State House. You have a freedom of expression. Talo e president Obane. It's an expression. Well, talo e gita nyatilo manfenkele yembane. It's a freedom of expression. Na ye lo nyatilo le yembane yemfaneng ngaben siloka. It's expression. But why wouldn't you do that? Because there is a check. There is a diamuno jite. Barnia baneng ha, that is not a freedom. But it's an expression. It's an expression. Kamo baneng. Abemu diamol ti lafta min polef. Barnia mo baneng. Wodatije. Freedom of expression. Freedom of assembly. Alangata dun State House ngaloje. Barola officer nyati lula mo beta dun State House. Soja rolte sonne dun State House. So every freedom yaje, every freedom has checks and balances. Wale atinna, they create institutions that will oversee those freedoms. Wale atinna, ini mose sonka, niya baneng, yesamba kitiol. Wale atinna, mola korda se taraje, ye freedom of movement sodo, barnita de dunta mola korda kono, iko trespass yesamba kitiol. Wala ne bukela moto londi Karaba Avenue sila bakang. It's freedom of movement. Mona ne mantela moto park sila bakang. Tak. Karaba. Wokosa Road, OIC Highway. Taila moto bantambili alondi sila bakang. It's freedom. You have a freedom to move, right? Freedom to move. Taita move yeta aloje. Police will be ne kamalale. Because someone has authority to make sure that every freedom has a limit. Mbaldani kamina. Police all kunundani mol diamutan. Nyilmi ila demonstration ya kedalilo mina dalila kende balande. Internet da kole ata Gambia back. Internet is very expensive in that country. Ada amanya na kela fuar banko lon Gambia. Dindin jamal kada karambungol don sulata data la. Data is expensive. La sako Africell is very expensive. I do not agree with them. Komiyon ba try kam ba kebe mol mako e kam. Wodon tol fal. Lolu bahudu de. Lolu dañu wara set fofu bu baha. So Public Order Act is a law alanga bunya. But in laftamina UDP, NRP, CPP, NPP, ninga lon ko nyin demonstration olu nyilu alingata ngafo police ole ko wala ngafo na député le ko atolle ka luwal dada atolle ka action legislate nyin acto nyin abe luwa konol de luwalom bari ngamira ko abe banku dingol la nyanto abatinya kan alingata na député liya. We can change things with civility and decorum. We don't have to fight. Because near keloke, any institutional lekata kele minni alon ko ebe sula la wol. Sama partido lebe kala mansati ni ala sonda. Dunia mu falim waldi. Watili kali ayamu. Nudawiluha bayna nas ale wolefo. Ikanyi institutional min neng. Alka sar min nenteng. An alka jojo min nenteng. Wallahi. Ibe minke kan is by the law. Luwa nyi wala mambeta. Sari ning mimbe luwa topoto kan magistrato wal manke problemoti. Alla député lu minalon ka ale carte o faye wala problemoti. Alta wali ala constituency la fa ko Public Order Act that is in place right now is not good. Amambeta. Alinga fali. Let them come up with a private member bill. At all left up the type of Public Order Act minna. Me along Kalia feel commensurates to the rights and freedoms as enshrined in the Constitution. Alia Mako was Safela loyalty banalbul. Mbe, NPP, everybody. I think this is a valid thing. Me along Konyantanga okay. But hani bi dolben nalde because nkabarole support. Wala ma be jawmati. Saying out of Folekodi. There is no bad law. Ni luwa nata luwa yata. Luwa buka jawya no de. Abuka jawya. Adum polisol buka luwa dada. Luwa e mimfo e kawole tamandi kawole force la mol kang. Nse luwa falin nole. Nga karte fay minnie mbe wole force la ye luwa falin. Alinga okay. Funding kewlu. Let's invest our energy in that regard. And then we can demonstrate ni laughter. Ngatanga manza kunda ngatama ngata state house nim malla fi minna na kuyara la kuoman dianye every week ngamanza faling ni lafta wala every week nsitanga president baro nyina fa malla fol ngata bayje nga usenda bo kije usenda bo 1 week later ngata bayje nga mama kande kije. We can do that. We can ni lafta wala and say okay, but there is no absolute right, there is no absolute freedom anywhere in this world. Ate do that. Na lafta wala. Again, nsa discourse fanang not all lafta ni mo lafta demonstration or le wuli. No institution should oversight it. Ano fananke. Na lafta wala. Almata dipitelia nga fwe konko. We don't want any oversight institution. Nin demonstration wato sida. Alimol bulangata. Ha. It's a criminal olu. In the name of demonstration. It's a wuli eta ye modern day kafunyoma ye traffic o be bulok. Motita school because it's their right to demonstrate, right? Yes. It's their right to freedom of assembly. Yes. Modern sita yellow flying over to petroleum house. Burusubi. Ha, traffic light wodla. Modern sita somanda akili eloje police olete la hajola. Ha, motita banjul do kola. Motita la business ola, motita marseto sukuta, motita salaji, motita dula. Wala ni more than kamfada don ye wuli ko no problem yeta sukuta jaban Johnson ye loje somanda killing ta Allah fawla we can bloody do that too. We can you don't want the police to be an oversight authority, you bloody do that. We can do that too for a jumal tora woman motora mbitanna National Assembly member le adron ngafoy police oli da bondi mola demonstration oto sojar oli ida busol bondije NIL dal bondije Manzakunda da bondije momo la fa demonstration la ale mol kafunyo maleta lafta na lafta ale si Westfield tilitan ni lu who cares but al balon na ko niwo keta wolta al balon na ko there is need for an institution to serve as an oversight authority because nita lafta tala marsedo bi mo luli e wuldre ko duto da jawyatal my friend duto da jawyate nasi sukura jaban traffic light moto te tambila wala mo tanko dolo da be serri mbakele ndol man dolo soto yeta ye Bruce B fandi wala yeta Westfield mota yeta CJ na lafta wala alwoke. Yeah. Otherwise, police will not accept imang authority sodo iye bularek iko alanga woka ke banku jumal woka ke dunia mundol mole podre ke tadem you inform the authority alkafo authority wala authority la iba kalam dalale let them put contingency in place purato la safety and in public safety and in economy put into consideration because no andeng ite mi demonstration o plan ite ngani nyimmale soto ite ngani nyimmale soto de lata le ite ka min kata pura te ite ngani nyimmale bela de bari kabriya kumandiro ke almo keme mo tambije ngani kurungol be wala mo kurungol leti de ni ma law enforcement soto minu bal guide la asekatol fana famol min tata je alni woliye du nyola ali kele yal so muro law se kenol bari ni nal ko police wolte authority soto la sai wobe kala no nyaadi ala nga auto mira baake nga hakilo tu woto fulanjang yalo nga sabala follow ngo fo president mu dictator de mbela banna wolto fulanjang ngo nyim protesol funding keol min be kerin sako opposition funding keol because there are a lot of opposition minu momo ko baro eta womo opposition ol so opposition funding keol wala second we have 2.3 million Gambians as per the statistics from Gambia Bureau of Statistics 24 for 23 census law. We have 2.3 million people. According to weak sources, because Maulo, almost at least 55% of Gambians funding Keolum, 55% of Gambians are funding case. Name 55% of Gambians are youths. That is 0.55 times 2.3 million is 1.265 million people. So akamunda ning Gambia la population mo million fula wuli keme sabaldi keme iko adwata nyaonya talul ni lulu wolmu funding kewleti kambano lo ani sungurol funding kewl ko funding kewlu e mantra kewl da mama they involve youth fund sungurol too. So funding kewl min nanka mo be Gambia, that is more million killing. 55% is 1.265. That is more million killing, more will kemefula, more will taworo ni lulu. Out of 2.3 million, wolon funding killed. 1.265 million people out of 2,300,000 Gambians. That is the figures. Now I'm getting into my area. Mathematicians and statisticians. Say, out of that let me even say 1 million people. Nita lo dete ko ngaje ninta nga safero ka mbenyu funding ke lo mina lon ko they are not supporting baro. Ite ko baro eta. Mol mala fi baro la. Gambians don't want baro. Baro eta. Ite ka ilafta wala. Nte ko mala fi wala man tonya fo. Gambian on lafta baro la. Because nga carte file 2021. 2026 months he follow. He still has the mandate. He can't take funding keolu. You are not being ite mandara joining funding keolu kang ite mumo jawoldi funding ke jumal. Ite la kuobe announce banko be kam banko mi alonko you have 1.2 million young people. As per the statistics. Ite mo willi saba found gadano. Mo wili saba ete mo ol kafu no nyoma ete ka fonde ko Gambia funding kelo nyina fo ete defi. Where do you get that figure from? Ko ite la nyim protest. Even though again let me say this, gala protest all minke ye minu foje nge support adumbe futala otole ninna the whether President Barrow is a dictator or not mbinaje bari yalo ne konde buka silam because ye olonde they know about that ko jite ndemu mindin kolof adumbuka monya ko na jibe adon min kande accuse konde be dogo lande be palace la adon malal kamim. You don't know what you are saying. Min be dogo la palace ko dol bi gente dol fo lante dawo palace be barol bulu min kedande ni wote ma dol yo kalamda be palace nde bari let's go back. to where I want to put across. It is more keme sabala findinina out of 1.265 million people. Funding keol. Ntebe grupol kono ndela Facebook ninga saferoke. Ite endeneng. Akora si bang. Nite endenen tenga poske. You have 15, 20, 33 people, mini and nenge. Most of the people that come there to insult, they are known, most of the people that come, and I know about that too. A lot of my people, Minuka Baro support. Ibuka Hani, that I know. A lot of our supporters are not very brave. I know that. And I know UDP mentality. No, most of the people, Minuka Naji, they are UDP. I don't know my brothers. I know them. They are aggressive. They think the country is theirs. And we know that mentality. So, not all more Tansabanara. You look at how many people like it. Minuka like. You know why they like it. They are scared of commenting because I'll be in the So sometimes they will come to me and write to me on the ground in my so you have 33 of you insulting me, but you have 150 liking my post. A lot of those 100 people, 50 of them or 35 of them will write to me in my inbox directly to tell me you are doing a good job. But they are not as brave as some of you. So not only because I'm thinking about a lot of messages that I get when I post from our supporters. They are scared of the aggression. You know, UDP, some of my brothers are very aggressive. So, adol kanal alien neng. But not all more tansa ba neng. More keme more talulu, wala more keme fula, wala more keme saba. Wala katanna post like, ya love. Yala na walka love mina. They are in agreement with me. You understand? But they will not like it. They will not write. Because when they write, some of you will go and insult them. So they keep quiet. Instead, they write me a direct message, you are doing a good job. And I tell them thank you. But I know, they are not as brave as me. But that is not to say, Barrow does not have supporters. He has a lot of supporters. But they are not as brave and as, let's say, useless as some of our boys. They don't want to be involved in that. Albuka will understand. So anytime I make a post, go and count how many insults you have made in your comments, as opposed to how many people like my post. You will know where the support lies. They will not come there. So saying, but where I'm even trying to say is, need a funding also the Bangkok. More million killing, more will kemefula, more will tower on the loon. More will tower and more will loon. Ite ko banko katol le support atol be mina olon toñat ite demonstration of commandi for adjusting film alon ko is just fun. It's a very just thing. Ite mo keme saba found bendino ite ka fo mole ko atol la man sakunda you have no support atol man ke fen ite male coming for so alkagal nalkan de nenkal jibela almalo mimbe keri mimbe mol sonno mol kono mol kam minu discourse du mete malo. And I have WhatsApp groups. I mean over maybe 150 different WhatsApp groups. Yendela nombal kedam. NPP supporters and allied supporters. Funding ke longwol. Wala grupo dolu. Mo keme lu lebije. Grupo dolu. Mo keme nan lebije. Grupo dolu. Mo keme sawa lebije. Grupo dolu. Mo keme fulatalu lebije. Wala hani opposition kili bukasot. Niye feo sambana. The belief is UDP in fact is behind this protest. Well, kaula faumira. Ita kada ka fonde ko ha, funding kel buka baroso. Yamara to ala kami. So not only entene nkal jibele nga jele because ntenga milla atol malo. Ntena atol ka interact bantale atol ben nenna minye baro support wol bente safe kannan direct message ola kanna post like nteka jibe. I'm a statistician. I know what is going on. I know we have a problem. Baro government, we need to do a lot more for people because adama di ola water buka wasa. But barola mansa kunda ba kata come back. So kana fonde ko ite ka funding ke you are not part of ibuka funding ke also. But and again the other thing is kabiri in gala protest keta. Let me tell you about, again, I will always use UDP as, you know, a reference because namol them. And they are the biggest opposition. They are the biggest contender. Just like Nita the Angalter, you know, is Labour Party, Conservative Party. Labour Party, Conservative Party, Canada Jabol Yama. So they are smaller contenders, but we don't care about those. So that's why I will always use UDP as a reference. Secondly, Mfama along party leader. So Mandem Bala Barembe Fakiling. So I will say it. We are the same father. Me, President Barrow is big brother. Ndolim Barrow but a Bakilim Fakiling. I told Nindol but a Bakilim Fakiling. Barembe Famam double. So we will say it as we like. Down, sir. Sorry. Meto tokan. Manji osor. Badonga mfanya ndindo mandiamu. I don't know if water malafinga. Or maybe Memphis malafinga for Memphis. Well, I atata jalang to puru nkawe muda. Anyways, near government jibe. Let's forget about what I was trying to say. And let me come to the third part. Whether Adam Barrow is a dictator or not. You see, Mansakunda tije mim perfecta. Ate sotola, anena man soto, adate soto. Hani kila sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Anala grupo, kabiribe maralola, kelo kone ka mistake ol sotole, ika kelo they lose the battle. Woka kele. Alale be fe. Bari kelo kono ika mistake oke wala na Uhud imanganyeje wala na Qur'ano fa yawma Hunain kelo ila follow mistake backetable for after disintegrate la. But after they gained the courage kabiri kila was statement of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they were able to come back and garner the strength and then win against the enemy. So manzakunda mpake. But look at the trend of President Adam Barrow's government. Kabirin Gala protest nata. Or before Gala protest, 3 years jotna natale. Equal after protest lela, Mansakunda e pamito dila. But Kabiri e pamito dila, I protesta, I muruntane ko, Barola Mansakunda e lafta oleji, regime change, I call it. And that is illegal. We cannot accept that. That was not acceptable by law. Police only by. But they gave them authority they gave them the permit. They demonstrated. Kabrim Galanada, the first one we had issues. Second one, Moja le fundidana again, let me say this. Moldi Amudeko Youth Solu, Gambia funding Keolu Malafinina, again I'll go back to the records. We have 1.256265 million youths in the Gambia. But the Galala protest, we had less than 400 Gambians minfinduda. Adu olmu keba leti, and it didn't all dolbije olmu keba leti. So it was not exclusively youth. But ilao finto, we know, womo minfindida, no matter how small it was, iko. Yaya jammela fengol mi wafita ama wafiku. President Adama Barrow being a leader and a Democrat, I muneke. He made a televised statement. Dictator Bukaoke. Because that protest, volume protest or war number, is not enough to threaten President Barrow's government. It is not that big enough. Ka security threaten wala Barola Mansakunda wala ikafon nyim protest minkeda bi abe Barola Mansakunda boendelal hani. But we believe as a government and Barrow as a Democrat, he made a televised statement about the concerns of a gala team that is less than 1,000 people. He made a televised statement to Gambians. Ko, Aliyeminfo is valid. What did he do? He convened and set up a commission. Ka lamoy ko, Aliyeminfo nga lamoyle. Alla grupo do ata nyaaw nyaaw. Fondinke hakili malle malti. Aliye fenne je miyalon konte maji. Adum batol le nyaato amanke konte la hakilo wartalti. Aliyeminfo, jannal ka fo maji. Bara alla nyin finto aliya diamoke ngalla kumo moyle adun sonta aliya minfo woto mbita ko deke mbe aliya minfo nga kisi nga jibe fo tonya ake kuta faman keku dictator bukaw because dictator ala ne ko symbole be mbul abajala la boy bara be kido tala la gone down ko yaya jamme yake nyamen in year 2000 April 10 and 11 students have concern ye mole fa mo fula student ol wolle fata student ol kambenda iko alngata mansaya president ya itanda lako ye student ol le fa alnga investigation ok ya jame balanda mela moy mo le fata oto mo ye wolle fa oto April 10 and 11 jame manso wala dictator ka wala aka kidol ta al gone down al befa ya ay al befa aka wala wala alngata electoral reform la ye solo sande mude samba ye bute solo sande fela fata logo njanyolu lamin fenkanyoli be mambalu ye minkele bute minkela ani ye min laikan wole befa logo njanyol be onkul lamin maronyol dictator ka wole President Adamo Barrow instead I televised statement wole apparently akale min fa agree there is a commission being set up by National Assembly for monkey. Right now, they are re-evaluating the sales of Jammeh's assets thanks to the Gala protesters. That is number one. Dictator Bukauke. That is not dictatorship. Number two, Ale Gala protest ke kununko. More than the moment that Jaman Kemesi. Ale Gala protest. Ye model mudeko de beltal. Ye samba maltu. Kunung. Mol fitidana. Malo mojal lenata. Malo. I don't know. For more Tansabalon, for more Willie Killing number Malo. I don't know. But Capital Nada, that was just yesterday. Only police all do tanyola. Police all ye dol samba mile too. Ye dol somebody man. B, that was yesterday. Today, President Baron Alamolko, Nilmu funding ke all today. But he come in for. I don't have Mira Kuba. Internet expensive talde. But Janin Katama o Nyama, Ya Ayuhaladina Amanu. Inja akum fasikun binaba in fatabayanu dino kila fanga fa anala mario mimu alati mi akina ni mona dal kanin kibaro ala kiskisa ala jibe President Baro alnata kan gala la jammela assets alko ma wafiku ako no problem alnga kiskis inja akum fasikun binaba in fatabayanu ay commissioner set up a fanga dia muta banko be ako fonningel ali sabarale min fonga moel mansata be ke kula ko dingo buka be ke ku nyamen niye dingo soto iba kulu kan ilafta e men ay independent abuka be ke ku ikamin ke wolam na ku jawo ke ya fintina ya fay aya jibe akoy fan sondale min ngamin ka mambeta ay continue o mamira ko ata miseko kala kote kede abe miseko kala kote ye kampa kam mo kote ke na kuya ay na apologize Sama I okay. Fire time men I can adult. Mansakunda and Tolbe Olanyama, we are a young democracy. We are a young democracy. So we will do a lot of things wrong. Atoliana as a pressure group, alia complain, alia diamu, nga moy, nga investigation okay, we correct it. We will make another bloody mistake again as a government. That is how we move as a young democracy. But while we do that, while we move on that journey, that trajectory, alanga nyobunya. Ndakala force dide. Ni aje malla UDP nkola. Itol lafta na mansa kundala boendila. Itol lafta o damala. Wole be tolto. Itol be nyin demonstration min bebe kering. Barom dictator. Mufadi ngol wol lafta le kankalo fili. Itol lafta wala mbam far ndewkela. Ndakala bintakala saba. Protestal dol bijele. Wol lafta. They want changes. They want transparency. They want accountability. Mansa kundani mbanko loda wala kama. But in fadi ngol UDP yellow team wo lafta na mansa kunda la kalo fili lafta NPP kalo fili ilafta barola mansa kunda kalo fili yen itolena e mansa mbamfar ndeso naw so ngale ko dalilo fele president baro manke dictator aldi amuta alla moy dictator bu kawke ñim fula njaw aliye ñim protest minke muneketa president baro just one day less than 48 hours he convened a meeting at State House with ministers, the highest decision-making body in the country. What did he do? They just released a press release. I felt like a committee on the sign. Committee sign. I committee on Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Digital Economy, Bureau, National Human Rights Commission number. Gambia competition nyadi lon defa mol tolo nena malon kol mu institution wala mansayati wala mansa kundati mansa ta be jela right de UDP kol da male espeko baro should be mia bil mia 100% 100% temer keme a UDP kol da male la flo ate kela jam bam far ndaka ndakala mansata be jela wala to opposition la do kodi ala jibe nimmi mambete ali afonye nga jibe baratol alafta na mansa kundale ti nyahani atol mi yalon ko you are genuine. I know a lot of youths mi yalon ko benyin demonstration o kono e mantra mansa kundade e mantra opposition de they are just genuine young people. They want very easy internet so that they can, some of them can talk to their white girlfriends. Some of them can talk to their potential wives in the US and Canada and Australia. That's their only problem. Now funding they are not part of a mantra opposition, a mantra UDP, a mantra Baro. Well, they want cheap internet because they want well be musunyino lela musunyimar. Tubabudu Angleterre, Australia. Dolbije will be university le. Ibela research le kekang. They want to have their education. They want cheap internet to be able to continue doing their researches and watch some of their lectures online because you have a lot of resources, or some of them want to use their chat GBT to polish their English and be able to do proper programming in Python, in C++. That is their intention. And that is fantastic. Imantra kafuto. Bari UDP call bijelo wol laftan na mansa kundale falling. Ndakela mbamfar. So ndengol baro manke dictator. Na le min fo na yaje. Aka committee lo nda ko ala ko jibe. How can that person be a dictator? How can that person be a dictator? He's not a dictator. In Public Order Act, nga lawyer je lawyer, nga lawyer mi nga respect back. Very respectful lawyer. Wokaka barole neng ko baro is suppressing baro acta wati is a shame. Ndol we are very proud. A young democracy of less than 10 years. We are chameleons. If you are ashamed about that, that's your business. Alberta America, Donald Trump he is still the legitimate president of the United States. Donald Trump mina America more aliajela be mina America. Ndola baro nano alia for it's a shame. That's okay. Ndola manza kunda. Adung it's a shame puru lawyer miye lua karang woya lonko lua muneti wo kana akaka molel neng for implementing a law or a piece of legislation. Wonyong lawyer furim. Wo mantara lawyer ya defend kande. Wo mu politician olti. So we are looking at you as a politician and opposition who has an ill will for a government, and we are not going to accept that as a ruling government. Because nimu loyalty, you are looking at things through a law prism. Ite balo naleko lua jaute keri. Adu nim mansa lua tamandi lua mimu luati mansaman tonyerke. ha atol lawyer furiwulu atol le ka legislation atol le ka develop moli atol lawyer kurungola atol mbatol le ye luwa luwaje mol ko nyimu luwa kurungoldi engineer ma a legislate engineer nene ma safe statistician nene ma safe teacher nene ma safe atol lawyer la be safe nyim public order kurungol mi al ke fotek atol lawyer kurungol la be safe for your bloody selfish interest atol la be safe 1997 constitution moma safe na manke lawyer atol la safe atol alkola ni moma safe so adu lawyer millata lawyer yala wo buka fo loi kari kuriatal sakoni wo loi ate alon ko wo mu loleti that loi ya safele kabiri ya safe ya gazette kabiri ya gazette ya present to parliament a competent arm of government ya debate ya table on the floor ya they voted on it, they enacted it, and it is assented to by the president of a competent country to become a law. I don't know how you can insult a government for that. In Public Order Act, we all have a problem with it. But in Nilafta Falina, we cannot wait for President Barrow. Nalman Lafi coming to Mimfola Molie. Ni UDP kolunko yalonde nika kuyamina. Last time diamudanyeko diaspora refused to vote. You guys, you are not serious. You are not bloody serious. Iko ka diaspora kolel kampane manzakunda kam. Ni manzakunda manso not all after mol kondani nila. You have rights to bring forward a private member bill. You have a lot of National Assembly members from UDP. Alkalka diaspora kolle support. Ibenying ID card diamol bela jam. E ko manzakunda ka daka ID card o di Gambian kolla bat. Bar manzakunda amalla vi Gambian kolle carte o fay. Lu ala bi jemin ko Gambian kolle carte o fay. Altali o lu afali. Bring a private member bill. Any National Assembly member can do that. In fact, it was UDP, and I'll say it again. It was UDP that came in and brought a private member bill for Local Government Act and Elections Act. For it only 2017. Alaji Jawara was UDP 100%. Ailua Samalang, iko dibitelu. Ni la partiyo bula wawato. Ni la partiyo ebay. Ika foela dipite ala alkata by election. Wala kakaya jame jamano. Lua lebenunje. Lua kurumba. Nim ya jame ba la APRC. Dipite boom fanande ka foala. You go for election. Lua kurumba. UDP dipite tade kafuta nyoma they sponsor a private member bill. Ya samana manza kundama o samana. Dipite la samana. They brought it. Alajawara brought it. Overwhelmingly, they voted in favor. The same thing applies to mayors and chairmen of different councils. You can leave a party and still maintain your position until end of your term. But remember, Wala, 65-year cap for qualification to be president. For UDP, there was a law, a piece of legislation, an act minko. Nisio be sanjit talul 65. Need another 66 years. You cannot be president of the Gambia. Fame off. Bakola luwa yo fanunde. Onda ya jame. Usenda bo ya bali kate mansal. Anybody that is above 65 years, you cannot be president of the Gambia. Wolua natal. Again, UDP. Wolele private member below sponsor. To remove that part of the constitution, ka amen. Puru Honorable Hussein Dabo can contest for presidency. UDP, again, I'm talking about UDP. This is history, very clear, it's there. 2027, 2017 to 2020, UDP defeated Leobek. It only obey Samana. Why did they not change the legislation so that diaspora can vote? They had the same powers. That was not in their interest. Because they were in government. It was never in their interest. Because it was in the government. They were in government. Usenda boy ala taso do, dipiteli e taso, diaspora nkoliatol balal. Fue le mark. UDP ko lake ko but ba fala ko President Barrow NPP malafi diaspora ko le carte o fay. They still have access to the same powers in the constitution to sponsor a private member bill. Any National Assembly member can sponsor a private member bill. Any of them. Honorable Yaya Menteng, Alaji S. Dabo, Lamin J. Sane, name them. Any of them can sponsor a private member bill. Kasambanang Parliament, Kafoko, Leftale Diaspora Kole Carte of Fai. Nia Sambanang, NPP called Balanda. Aha! Aha! Nganyine fali. Nganyine fali, aha! Good! Bari masama nang bari bendol accuse. Atol fanal buke nyini kalma fweko. Fatol man sembo soto as National Assembly members to bring that to Parliament. Ikanafane kafale ko. Nyin 2020 draft constitution. NPP ko latinya. Molka songala. Nde kandene. Because they have been there from the start. I have the memory. I have the process memory, TRR, FENCO, Constitutional Review Committee, CRC. I have followed it religiously because I was interested in it. You have a very bad history, but you try to be aggressive. You know, you want your narratives to come and stand there and stand all of that. What happened? Kabirin TRC, you know, na last day I'm gonna conclude. Kabirin TRC nada. I'm talking about the bad history. Alkatula molne najan. You have a very bad track record with legislation. Nimi mankala interesti wo dati. Nimi mala interesti wala mola interesti aleo tokuya be jolon dol kan takela. Politiko sidale NPP ko alkana silang. Sambi mina suo ko non kana mbe pare kan sambi mina Gambia. Alkana silang. Inira nyi wurol be. They are nice people though. Don't see them shouting, you know, they will invite you for lunch and they will not poison it. That one I can tell you. UDP guys, they are very nice. That I can tell you. It is a kele Facebook, ale nyo Sabajang, ale wuri, Nalbenda village. Ni kabem village le Gambia. Nini benda dol kana dina fa jonyele. Nka jelele. So on a more serious note, they are very nice. Bari Kabrin Constitutional Review Committee problem or nada. There were a few rounds here, Minka, about 3 rounds or 2. The first draft, Kabira nada. There were sections in the schedules. Section on nada ko. Jumala nyanda qualify la purka ke president da ni Jumala man nyanda qualify. Left ale la moide. Mbenyum fala ni man ni ka kawla. E katu mol bilemle katu baro jalela, e katu NPP jalela. Ntolle buka diamu. Kanjalai. Ntolle buka diamu. Yaje dunia. Katangasi. Ifane katangasi. Dunia mu world. Politiko mu interested. Dunia mu interested. Ni molta da kelola. Fitino. Nin kelo dunda moltema. Ni tata ka peace accord sign. Ita lafta mimbele buka obeso. Ita ka do tujele. Ilafta minna. Iye do accept. Nyindo lafta minna, yedo tuje, aman laf minna yo accept. Ikavole peace accord, isa jale agree. You come to a government of national unity. Niamu a government of national unity. Amanke mobe lafta minna yo soto de. Doe do soto a $40. Do fane do soto a $40. Gambia new constitution, kabira nata. There were 2 key issues. Mini alonko, wole problem basamana, at least as what they would say. Problem follow. Kabrin the first schedule nada. Hussein Dabo, there was a session in the schedule. Ako. Alila mwede. Nim nalma lana. Ala for a first draft ya sambale na alia jibe a copy be molbu. Wo schedule ko. Momorondi ning ayatuma ko. Lua nene sorong. Aye soro adiye charge criminal act lela. Aye soro more than 3 years. Itene na remanse akela Gambia Bangkoka. Ye muta koye bankola luwa le tinya criminal act. Ye luwa ye muta. Aye soro. the new draft Cherno Jallo nyole min draft nyin CRC na new constitution a koni wo ketela itete mansi ala Gambia kotek adu wo keta Hussein Dabola whether that was just or not but he are convicted of a criminal act comme atata demonstration ola banko ya muta ya sentenced to more than 3 years in prison alio kalam dal kodi. In fact, I think it's more than 1 year. More than 1 year or so. Lua, I'll have to go back to it. Ali, I remember ye interview ke. Mojamal lebije mini alonko yo interview remember. Usienda boko. Nima wodula bondi je. Nima wo section of bondi. Dabo famole ofo. Ako nima wo section of bondi in the constitution. UDP ta support la. Because that constitution, that part, woyate discriminately. This is an interview. Nyo sabati je, wuliati je, nimu interview di, adabe koirim fer. Dabo ko, that section, woyate discriminate la te sonna wala. And we agreed. We all agreed. We all agreed. CRC tata yoto bondije NPP ngol ko ali section o samane ko baro you cannot run more than 2 terms but we will go after Barrow's first term retroactive wala retrospective whatever you call it NPP ngol fananko say Lua out of goodwill internationally Lua mi mantara life you don't go after what has passed yesterday. Ibukata onoma. Lua na baluda bi. You know what it does? It starts from today. The day the Lua existed, that's the day the Lua, that is what Lua covers. But the Lua means sort of be 2020, wait out 2016 noma sambana. Wobukake. For example, a very good example. Mansakunda député lu signed amamme. Ye Lua dole samba député bungoto. Iko momo Mansakunda do kula nensai ibe soronal aliya kalam dal kodi momo e Mansakunda do kula neng public official momo ya neng momo e minister neng momo e député neng momo e president neng momo e ambassador neng ibe sambala kitiol aliya kalam dal ya Lua pasle bari mo jamal lel bije min yalonko mol bije nun kabiri Hussein mu foreign minister 2017 mol bije mine Ousseynou Baneng mol bije mine Lamun Dambu di bañol ne wadon dolbe UDP mol bije mine Halifa Sallah ñol neng mol bije mine Oje neng mol bije mine mol neng janni kañi Lua dada ali akaram da mol bije mine Adama Barrow neng mol bije mine molu nem politiko kono janni ñi Lua kana just 3 months or 4 months ago Lua mi ale ko momo e Mansakunda do kula nensai be soronal Lua nyin kabria enact imanta police on manta YouTube ka jibengo jite last year 2 years ago jite bulata barola almata no 2 years ago Baba Jah Hussein Dabonen almata no 5 years ago Lamin Touré Ojenen almata no Lua bukawke nendirol min keta janni Lua ka soto e manta wol noma Lua da lumin na kabolun kata nyato itata wolle no go based on that same principle President Barola 2016 to 2020 janni Lua ka dada want that time what that je CRC balanda ye Hussein Dabo ko dame yate afek ye je bondi President Barrow fanala molko dame president afek adun dunia be ka ke wala nyama Lua bukata fennoma minda data koma. Another example nga mol soda mini alonko ye mol fa Lua ko niye mo fa life imprisonment yafa niye sentence B wala serum ite mol fa ye sentence to life imprisonment nin Lua nata nyinang 2024 you kill somebody, they sentence you in the courts to life imprisonment. That's what the law says. If Parliament change the law and says, now, if you kill, you are going to have death sentence. That man that they sentenced last year will not have death sentence. Because the law came after that man was sentenced. That is how the law works. But the dunia be nyabala, yebam far iko President Barota te kela. Adi alonko wole katama. Lua feo fennata jannaka wulu. Lua buka oma. Nile lua dadabi. Universality of that particular view. But iko President na ngole nyo sabona. UDP nko albe balantala. Albetu. But alkal bang. Lua ko usienda abote lola. That section UDP ta support la UDP nko beko. Ninda abote lola atekela. Constitutional Review Committee isila na UDP la itara usenda abo balanta mine yo bondije. President Barola Mol Balandamina, we have majority in the country. Majority of Gambians support us more than they support UDP. Because no longer carte keso win. We have more votes and more support than UDP. UDP mean for a sondaola, ndolanga mean for a balandaola. E kana e ka fo moleko ndolle o constitution ofa. E ka fana pedulja mol kalawol. Mol kalawol. Adal kal sila da alala. Kumba bu amundei a kumba bu munanyadi lo. Ah, because alfatia da la don le kadia. Kumba mi e baso da di kumba mi batal. Kwala man dol man baso. Dol fana le NPP nga bal sotole. Ko UDP e baso do nyame. Kumba bu amundei a kumba bu amutundei. Ñun yap amna ndey. Wala na constitution o fata mbele. Ada doli amena ko ni constitution o fata nga fay nyamo kono we UDP le makoy. Nandi nan sebi constitution. Ay ntolle makoy. Momo be mara lola o lu aketel makoy. Opposition la amol le febo. You're still smart and they are sitting and they are blaming NPP. Mbedi amukan independent viewers only. Mini alonko wolu because UDP nkolu. Wolu e tulol soronne haninga mulefo. Haninga samole jindine te sonna amwela. But I told me alonko you are independent, you love the country. These are some of the track records. These are some of the histories. Mbemi foka minu keda. I told me nada political konosa ale interest bill. There has been a lot of injustice against our government, against our president. By UDP, our half brothers. And in demonstration, he Jamal Darbije. And he told Darbije, Mina, he told after Mansa Kundale boy. Not all I told after President Adam Barole, I reform like a Mansa Kunda better, Mobe Munafang, UDP Manaola. Alen UDP called me Beje, don't give on masquerade as gala protesters. Well after Mansa Kundale boy. That's what they want. I don't so now. That is why sometimes it's very difficult. Boys all kana ka fanya ko jite. Inya bala kuol be caring. Ay manso e dabula laje. Nkanda bula jele. Bari. Niye tia kalo. Anin tia keso. Anin mani keso. Anin suna keso. Anin menten dingo. Ye feo be jakasi. Ite sapila ka ni ko ba ite nyanda domolan. Adite buka mano domo. Bari tioning mente onin jato ni mano ni findo ya benja kasiye boloko. You know ite ko jaro tata la ya do mo nyama. It's not possible. So alla nyin gala protest jama balu mol min kataje tonya mol lemu they have interest. Dol mun defa ba di wolleti. Arkanyi kemo fati min jeteng. Mbari nyolo mbari ni kunjara ba nama kilo. Mte muso dilala kemo fati. Ndemo ibari net iti akilo. Alkanyi kemo fati minjen tol bari ni kono tolo wati. Kemo fati bari kono kemo fati bama bakilim fakilim. Wala elda broda bakilim fakilim bola kemo fati nyin kemo fati ala elda abarin abama kono ma bakilim fakilim wala tola diaspora deputy secretary. So what is there to say? These are our own mbadi ngolen. Dol bi jol mum mbadi ngolen. Kemo fati la onkulom ala jawarat. NPP la député mimbe num lowa badibu. Say he's in Saudi Arabia. Kemo fati bama do maloti bakilim fakili. So you think we will see Kemo party in trouble? We will not. Exactly. exactly kemo fati alla kemo yenna kemo min soronde ndol fango lebita myself I am calling and appealing dukara limbari bula ha hana ma ke ko ala bula ala na ala friends all minuta da protest la libu you think we don't do it we do it we appeal to the police and I'm condol we don't we know it kemo mumbari ni wol abarim konotol le NPP lo lalti kemo barim konotol wolni kemo bama bakilim fakilim kemo is our nephew so it is joke we have our brothers there with you guys but some of you are atol bedna baro jang albe baro tongol noma jang ndesonawol no back way to state house mbam far atakera adunali america atol le and that is UDP. Now I'm not only funding girl, see I'm not funding girl. But the election is coming up. Jamal Balcone Benden, Ninga Poske Yenne. Not only Yenne, more Kamela can save Duma. Kafanya, you are doing a good job. That is what motivates me. I don't see you. Mba conclude la dame. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia. Kunum. I have made a lot of appeals. Malaf Kadia Mujang. Wala na nyim protest ko mandia muje almaje nga safero ke je fo bile nga safero and part of that talk too I made an appeal pour ye mol bula minutata je e sabari bula ye la moyle ngalon ko dol bi je nie mol bula they think you are a coward but that's okay ale momo so fennal ya je sedna Umar jarinte ole mati Mo sangarole mati. He ruled in a strict and very, very strict way. Ninsedna Umar lafta kake Abu Bakarti to be soft at Akenola. Ale mol dada ale mankili. Ite Adama Baro ale dada ayeke mo sonelti kayam fa molie kake mo naisirimoti ite muolti. Ite wole no. Ni ko ibe sangarla wote mutala de wode ni ko tete mutala. It will be very ugly on you. So you continue with that. Nga domang fo janita bitamba fole ex-statesman. Ite a musla hadrong. Don't worry. Mansale binami along ko ni onata. Mang other areas for that. But in freedom of speech, wallahi, ibineno maleba fala ningalong. For the freedom of speech ning kulubali adiamola part. Billahi ndefana sonda walal ko. Mol binale ya foko. No, we wish Adama was here. Ndenga olon. Ika me accept. Ndenga olon. Me included. Nga for Moliel. Kabiri nila chonko Birkama area council kuokeda. I can say that. Ndemu Muslim olinga tonya. Nga for Moliel. Nkalo nka minfonte nila kuya. Ninda ni ya jamela kuya. Nga ofonu. Itoli alone. Minu bija ya alone mimbekelan. Tenum father bi. I tell that to people. Ndenila kabiri ni NPP dunda yolante lo danga minfo Gambia kona e wati mpare danga nade ni ko kongkong mbula dandara airport to front line nina passporo Gambia government security lien salute ye silo yele nyem findi tantara mbula in fact kabiri kana VIP moto le samba pleno VIP moto wala nila ne ya jamano wek ifana wai tenum fat yeah wala keta so freedom wobe Gambian ngalo ne ni mol kuyare diplomatic passport odila mol ka fo Adama Barrow mol bije minu ka fay ko la diplomatic passport taybu aka fo ko ta talebu because nin kari kuyadan yemin di ala tabul president ka fo atol nyamata so alkana mira you are nice dukaran na mol bula i balaliye bula mo kendo le muiti mo kallanke le muiti you are not perfect bari Sonia Carola e kami accept mo mansa jamata accept la de Gambia kone batu rong yale kajele ajibe taliben suda nyol li yanks dabo nyol jibe ani landi nyolu just look at them ni ko be wol criticize la akadula hey prof how are you? Yes, I'm very okay. I'm just having a conversation. Yeah. How are you? Are you taking a course this year?
I'm teaching a course.
Right now? Okay. Okay. I took 4,001 with you. Yes. Oh, that's the one you're taking again? Amazing course.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Huh?
What are you doing now?
I mean, I am working now as a quality assurance engineer with Abbott.
I recognize your voice because I worked before. I said, but why is this guy upset?
I'm not. You see, I'm talking about politics here.
Passionate.
Yes, sir. Very passionate. Thank you. Good to see you, sir. You see, even my professor thought I'm angry. Huh? My former professor. So I'm not angry. I'm very passionate. Huh? So yajele, President Barrow, Your Excellency, nyimol bula, nyim committee eta ye doko ke committee fananu, manzakunda doku lalu, al Adama Barrow makoy, al Adama Barrow makoy de, al buka makoy, Jamal Balkono, ma fe alle malti, ma fe al Balkono de, al buka Barrow makoy, al buka makoy, nay al bula doku la alte doku ken, ada mata doku kenol, ada mata doku kenol, wala nan debe mimfoka. 2026 nintol nata nganna carte o gagné jang momote NPP ite palaso soto ha nim president barobe dunna nyola wala jannet kata minister sambana mi alon ka that he doesn't believe in our cause, he doesn't believe in our ite president for ite lata min ne man believe al nini kajara nini parede yeta ni molbe diamle ba fo ki hamud lu moy def ki hamud ki jangut ki hamud dara ikata wala fay koma. Your Excellency, ndeson na wala de. Ndeson ne tora next time because probably that will be your last time. Sunduture nyoli be sambala nanne. Ye molu sambana ye naike ministant. And give them that, nkaminfo, give them that same option. Ye mindi former digital economy minister. Because I'm surprised. Wo Usman ba mimbe digital economy. Dual citizen olo bari itata leko ilafta kala jeleha ya nyininka. They gave him an option. Usman, yes, we have an offer for you. We want you to be our minister. Will you accept it? Yes, I will, but you have a condition to fulfill. If you want to accept that job, you have to denounce your American citizenship. Will you agree or not? Usman agreed. Your Excellency, me Usman Sambane. Alon ne ko. Usman daten to la politico. I wolon. Near the same opportunity the others la. Usman man Gambia can hold. Usman man Yimansa Kunda can hold. Because wala ni lota itata suto konale sutote. Sundu sture kumandi. Sundu. Angalter. Afai Sundu, yes. I have a position of foreign minister for you. Bari, you are a dual citizen. Are you ready to denounce your citizenship? Amadou Jita Kumandi, Jita, yes, I have information minister position for you. Okay. Are you willing to denounce your Canadian citizenship for that? Let Ahmad Jita make that decision. Let Lamin Tunkara make that decision. Let Alkali Kondi make that decision. Let Saibo Tunkara, any other person, anywhere, Minialon Party Dingol Lemu, they believe in the cause, they believe in your philosophy. Itala vision, ilatala, Hani Kabiriman Palasoso, Nilel Latela, 2021 Duda, Nileli Famol Fintindi. You could have lost election, you could have won election, they don't care. But they believe in your views, they believe in your vision, they believe in your leadership. Inate niye keloke Palasoso. Janni kata molia banta ye offer. Ila mol offer. Because he lata minna wallata walla. And they'll be ready to make sure. Ila bisono. Akana lose. Bilay mo Jamal Sodolbe kodinyola. Banita te man se abula. Ibalon nal koe Jamal ke minister. Wolbe kodinyola wolte. Ndema lafka diam. Ndada 2021 election olal. Nga minister soto le minalo ila cabinet wol konte ntenyo moba fudu balote caring ndenga na do ko tunanje nkonka na kelo ketele asekembe fensola teke nte fensola. There are colleague ministers minalo nga foye there are ministers ila minister minio fonte wato campagne be keri And there are other ministers nga for mini. Because these are cabinet ministers for Barrow, minu kanyim fonte. Yes, because they don't care about whether you win or not. But in that will to follow. But there are ministers nga for mini, enko e career nyine fonye. Ha. So they all follow. So exactly today. Jama adung karte fire kana. Doluka for a dingolele, let them not comment on our post. Molbe bal nenal. Wol fanal bijel. Dia muato be silad. Ntenga moljele ye dolke ambassador. Woli ye dingol neng 2021. They insulted their children because they commented on my post. When they comment there, moli ye neng, those children are responsible. Wol fanal bijel. Ye palasi bal dile bijel. Nte tol fole. Because na interest kamola hajotina. But exactly today, they don't believe in you. You gave them big positions. That's okay. Hargelum. Italy rights so they power so they are your excellency. But we have evidence, we have materials, but we are not going to talk because our man can hajot. 2026 ninganyeda atekela. Isafoko dige judo no mo kuluba rek atekela mbamfar ne akeda. President Barrow mbele besila mbe in highest council NPP ini wole besila nga kachanyondeng ite fanade ning ila man se abanda wote diale la Gambia because mbele be balana ite lafta mi eketa te ketal we'll also stand that way but ambe stand nge kanule ni agente 9 years I've been with you 9 bloody years I've been loyal to you mota fintila ya foko President Barrow nene jite so $5,000. Yang accused Femobela. But I'm still with you. I believe in your vision. Amanke do code. Nge kanu alanin kilale. Nintanga mo kanu mbuka atuje. And I'm doing it. And I will fight and fight. Ifele bembane najam. Doli amera ko man so far. Doli amera nafatena. Doli amera ko yendankale. Ka bela fonyi. Ila kuola. But I'll continue to support and defend you. But I'll be dandula sotolalde. Nimante kije no problem. Bari ni mine keloke e bol kala jele sundu toure nyolu ani alkal konde nyolu fabu nyolu na kebali be sena. Itolle do koke yena cabinet. Momo man do koke mola minister ata soto. Kamol samanan ka for their expert in the name of experts. We don't care about it. That I can also say. Mba folal. Adu will stand by it. Nyo botaje. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nka Qur'ana aya min fa mba folal. ما عندكم ينفد وما عند الله باق. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.